Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Wuthering Waves reaction. Today we have Where Wind Whispers and Wind-Kissed Haven. That was a weird title, so I had to double check down below. This one was requested by Torubo in the comments of the last video, and a lot of people agreed that I should get to this one. Also, I found out that the OST behind the scenes aren't like actual behind the scenes, and they're just like straight up video footage of the playthroughs in the studio. I thought it was like sort of like a documentary sort of thing, so I keep seeing these and not clicking on them because I thought they were something else. And then I saw that they were just straight up footage of the actual performance. So I'd been operating this whole time using other uploads thinking that these were gonna like spoil the song for me during like a breakdown of how they recorded, but I guess not. So I'll be using one of those today, and I'll probably use some more of them in the future because there's quite a few that I've just avoided thinking they were something else. So I guess without further ado, let's go. I absolutely adore it when they leave like the breaths of the players in there. It's such an underrated little detail that adds so much. This is an amazing melody. Ooh. This is gorgeous so far. Not that I expected any less, but the dynamics in this are so powerful. It feels exactly like the title would suggest. The dynamics very much feel like wind whispering and like all of that extra detail in the white noise under the song. I'm not entirely sure how these songs are related to each other. Like, I don't know if they're direct sequels, you know? A little more conversational this time around. It's almost a call and response going on. The first one was kind of just sharing the melody between all the instruments. Show the percussionists, cowards. Show the percussionists. Obviously, they have to focus on the soloists, but only recording the strings, of course. Percussionists get no respect, dude. Nothing. So is the strings. I can play. Shut up. Why didn't they record the other instruments? I'm actually kind of curious. Like, obviously, most of the song was strings, but it's like, there are other elements in there. Show them. Show the pianist, you know? Like, come on. I know that you're just recording the ones that are mostly going to show up in the video, but give us the details. I want to see these extra little instruments in here. Like, those exist. Show them. If you're going to do a video like this, please showcase as much of the full orchestra as you can, and don't just focus on like the one section. It's kind of a bummer. I don't think it really affects the song at all, obviously, but there's just a part of me, as obviously I've got my bias as a percussionist. Show the percussion! I want to see somebody do this with a rain stick. But that minor gripe aside, this is fucking gorgeous. This is such a beautiful piece. I mean, there's two, but like, man, the first one, gorgeous dynamics in that entire song. Everything really truly felt like a breeze, just constantly waving in and out, and you just felt like you were going along with it. This song was beautiful. Where Wind Whispers is a perfect title. Like I said earlier, that is a perfect match for that sound. Everything felt so flighty. The flute, of course, being in there, helping make everything feel a little bit more bright and a little bit more loose on the high end. And then you get the cello, you get the violin. Those kind of just being the natural choice when you want to hear dynamics in an instrument. It's a great chunk of the orchestra to utilize strings for dynamics. They have so much dynamic range. It's stupid to not use them, but then having that flute in there, having that flighty energy, because that's kind of what the flute does. You want it to be that light energy in a song, something that's flighty, dancey, a little bit higher energy. They're super flexible in that way where they can be used in something like this that's very beautiful, and it has this huge dynamic flow, this just wave going in and out constantly, but it's still sitting on top. It's kind of like, oh, it almost feels like a bird or something else flying around, a fairy, you know, in the forest somewhere. But then it can also be something as dancing and energetic as like a jig, you know, in a town square. It's a very flexible instrument. And then having all those strings doing exactly what they're known for in an orchestra, which is that dynamic range. You can have a couple of them or 50 of them, and having that dynamic range ability where you could just have a couple of them playing different parts each and creating this gigantic scope, full chords just of strings, where they can play the tiniest of pianissimo to the grandest of fortes, and nothing can stop them. Strings are so important for that sound, and they work so well with this for that reason. It just carries that dynamic range all the way through. And I love the piano inclusion in there too, because it sounds so flighty as well. It's kind of matching the flute in that respect, where like the flute is kind of taking the role of the soloist, the like single identity that you're supposed to be following, the main character of the song in this case. The piano is just kind of there to fill all the other gaps and kind of act in the flute's like absence as it goes through the rest of the song and into the second one, which in my opinion, the relationship between these two, the first one feels so much more like you're being introduced to a whole new area and there's a bunch of new information, but it's very peaceful. There's not really anything stressing you in this location. It's just kind of like, oh, well, look at all this stuff here. This is so pretty. Like, you're just kind of taking it all in and letting that inner peace settle. And then as the second piece comes in, that's kind of like walking into the open clearing with like one giant tree in the center where you're just like, whoa, this is gorgeous. Like, it was pretty out there, but then this centerpiece to where I'm walking, this is where I end up. This is even more grand than I expected. Like, that's the relationship I'm getting from these songs. It really feels like the introduction to the area and then the final destination being so much more broad and grand than you were expecting, and you have to learn to take that all in too. It's like you gotta get a whole read on that situation. Again, I really don't know what their relationship is, like if they're actually sequels to each other or something, but I really don't care because it's just such a beautiful pairing. These two work really well together, and they share enough that I feel like they probably are directly related or played directly after each other. That can be kind of difficult to tell with games in general because you can be shown so many different locations within the same like area area of the game, and it's like, hey, maybe they're completely different forests, and this is just kind of how they have that sound portrayed in the game, that exact characteristic, just shared amongst multiple locations. But that's kind of why it feels to me like the first one is a predecessor to the second in a very direct sense here, because it has that relationship of feeling like an introduction and then kind of the main event. So it's beautiful, gorgeous. I'm at total inner peace right now. It's kind of hard to talk about a song when I am just this chilled out, I'm this vibed. I need to like have some sort of a thing pulling me into the energy to talk about a song in excess, and this one's just kind of letting me chill. So I think I'll end my yappage here. I'm just gonna go listen to this a few more times because it is so pretty, and I want to hear it a couple more times in a row, back to back. I am in love a little bit, and I'm gonna make this my whole like next couple of hours. So thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for requesting this one, and if you have any other songs you want me to get to from Wuthering Waves, of course, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get to them as always. And if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!